this is one of my favorite scriptures. But it's like a lot of the scriptures where Jesus has something in mind, and you don't necessarily get it until the very end. You may think the answer is going to be one thing, but it turns out to be something else. So, for instance, there was a problem with paying the census tax, to Caesar. And the problem was that the Roman coins that were minted with the inscription, with the image of Caesar, Caesar was the divine Augustus. Now, that's the image of a false god. No self-respecting Jew would ever be able to carry that or even touch it, because it would then render them unclean, impure, to be able to go into the temple, to offer their sacrifice. So they had to pay the tax. But if they paid the tax, they couldn't go into the temple. If they didn't pay the tax, they couldn't go into the temple. And so here's the question. You can see, the unctuous oiliness of the Pharisees when they're really setting Jesus up, when they say, we know you're truthful, like you wouldn't lie to us because you always tell the truth. So even though we got this trap laid for you, and I'm sure you can tell it's a trap, you're going to answer honestly because we know you're always honest. And you teach the way of God in accordance with the truth. And you're not concerned with anyone's opinion. In other words, the Pharisees were part of the religious leaders with the scribes, and they would give their opinion as to what was lawful, what was not lawful. Jesus always was condemning them and clarifying the law, making things more clear. And when they said, you're destroying the law, he said, I'm not destroying it, I'm perfecting it. I'm not doing away with it. You guys have got it all wrong. And when they would say, your disciples don't clean the outside of the cup and the dish, and they don't wash their hands before they eat, he says, it's not what goes into you that makes you impure, it's what comes out of you. Got it? And of course, they were just stuck in, here's the law, here's the rules, here's the way we do it, and this is the way we've always done it, and we're not changing. So, knowing their malice, Jesus says, well, why are you testing me, you hypocrites? Show me the coin. What he's really saying, wasn't there a commercial that says, what's in your wallet? Right? This is like, what's in your pocket? And so he's probably not expecting Jesus to say, show me a coin. And so these are the religious leaders. So they put their hand in their pocket and they pull out a Roman coin. Not supposed to have that, oh Holy One, are you? No, you hypocrite. Boy, you've just shown yourself to be someone who doesn't care about the rules that you yourself are trying to, beat over the head to the other people with. And so I imagine that there's a crowd gathered around because they wanted to trap Jesus. So would have made sure there were people there. They would have said, here's the Herodians, come and join us, come on. We're going to finally get Jesus. This is foolproof. And, should you pay the tax or not? It's like, have you stopped beating your wife, yes or no? Just a yes or no answer. That's all we're looking for, yes or no. You actually see some of those questions occurring, in our Congress today. Yes or no? That's all we want. Well, yeah, but it's nope, yes or no. So here, all these people are gathered around, and Jesus says, show me a coin that pays the tax. And they pull out the Roman coin. And you can see everybody else going, and Jesus says, whose image is on that coin? And it was an image. Nobody's image is supposed to be on that coin. Because see, what the Romans did, is they minted coins that had, on one side was the candelabra, the menorah that burned in the temple, and on the other side was sheaves of wheat, because it was the most important festival. And so just like you could have a Mercury dime or a Roosevelt dime, and they both were worth the same, here you've got the Caesar coin and the temple coin. And so this poor guy has in his pocket the Caesar coin. And that's so when you can imagine everybody going, what are you doing with that? Nothing, no, Pay no attention to the coin in my pocket. And so when Jesus says, give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar, it really is very innocuous. See, they think if they can get Jesus to say, don't pay the tax, then what will happen is he'll get in trouble with the Roman authorities because he's taken away the money from Rome. And Jesus says, pay the tax. But give to God what belongs to God. Give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar, but give to God what belongs to God. And what belongs to God is faithful witness and no hypocrisy. And so that is one of the strongest testimonies in the whole Scripture, and so clear. Don't try to fool around with God. Give God the glory and honor that he deserves. And what belongs to God? The gifts of the Spirit, the gifts of reverence before God, wisdom and understanding and knowledge and right judgment and courage and reverence and holiness. Those are the things that belong to God. So give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar, but give to God what belongs to God. And at that, I've reached the end of my sermon. Where's the loud applause? I don't understand. I'm sorry, normally it's spontaneous. You must have been so stunned by me stopping at this moment. I had actually thought in preparing this sermon that I would go into all sorts of things about what belongs to God, but I think this is all that Jesus said. I think actually it's all that needs to be said.